Yo guys and girls, and welcome back to Dr. Dave. So we're going to be showing you today how to make a dedicated server. After I made my dedicated server video for Euro Truck, I was asked, is there any way of making a free dedicated server for Farming 22? The long and short of it is, no, it's not free, because you're going to need a second copy of the game, a second Steam account. You're going to need a second copy of any DLCs that you're wishing to use on your farm. But to run the server, it is free. Once you've purchased the game and the DLCs and stuff that you need, then the server is free. You don't pay a monthly fee like you do to a vendor to host your server. So you're going to head into Steam. You're going to come down to Farm Sim, and you're going to right click, you're going to go to Manage, go to Browse Local Files. Inside here, you can see that there is a PDF. So the PDF file here, the English one, will tell you that, that you can use a 2.4 GHz CPU, AMD or Intel, and 2 gig of RAM and 35 gig of free hard drive space. It's saying 35 gig of hard drive space just for the game. That's without any DLCs that you add, any mods that you add. And then it also says 2 gig of RAM. And I'm telling you now, if you are running a dedicated server for farming with 2 gig of RAM, you're going to have a shitty experience. My farm has many mods on it. And we are running Green River 22. We ran Green River on 19, and now we're running Green River again on 22. And running with just 8 gigs of RAM, it wasn't the greatest. So, minimum I would say 8 gig of RAM. No less than 8 gig, really. But if you want to read through here, this will tell you how to get it all started. But I'm going to show you in a video instead of you having to read all of this gumph. These places, Fragnet and Game Services and Very Games. If you don't want to run a dedicated server yourself and you prefer to pay for somebody else to do it, then you can use one of these. But I've used Fragnet before, multiple times, before I realised that I could run my own server. So let's get into this. So to start off with, you're going to head into the XML file here. You're going to right click, you're going to open, choose another app, and then you're going to tick the box at the bottom. Make sure you select Notepad. And in here, I've already been in this file. So your username is standard as admin. And then you are going to put your password in. I'm just going to put this in as admin just to show you guys how to set it up. Do not do what I am doing and set your password to admin, because anybody could jump into your server and ruin it. And if you put hundreds of hours into Farm Sim like some of the guys that I play with, you are going to be in deep shit, because they're going to be majorly pissed off that they've wasted hundreds of hours building up a decent farm for you, and then someone comes in and destroys it. So once you've entered the username and the password, then you're going to go to File, Save, and then close down the window like I just did. Then you're going to come up to this application dedicated server. You're going to double click. I'm going to let this initialize. And this is now going to give us 2 URLs to go to. This window must stay open at all times. If this window closes, your server closes. To close all these other windows down. Right, we're going to copy this URL here, and then we're going to hold Control and then hit C. See the white band's gone away. That means that it is now copied the URL. So once you've copied the URL, we're going to head over to the internet, and we are going to go to that exact web page. So you're going to go paste and go to, and you're greeted with the Farm Sim dedicated server. So in here, we're going to do admin and admin, because I've already done this. It's saved the credentials. And then we're going to log in. It's saying that password change. And then when you get to this bit, this is going to initially this is going to say dedicated server in the name. That's what it's going to be called. You can change this to whatever you like. I'm Dr. Dave, and my gaming group is DDL. So we called it DDL Farm. This is your administrator password. So if anybody in the game, i.e. the person that's hosting the server, would normally be the owner of a gaming community or a gaming group, and then you have your managers and your moderators. So if you want your managers or moderators to be able to edit anything in the game, i.e. speed the time up, or buy, sell land or equipment, etc., then you can give them this password. Obviously, it's not going to be 1234 because you're going to use your brain and you're going to set it to something that people are not going to find out unless you give them the password. And then the main game password, so when you load into FarmSim and you go to the multiplayer and it asks you for the password for the server, that is where you're going to set your password right here. And again, you're not going to do 9876, you're going to do a password that you know, and you're going to give it to the players that you want to join you on your farm. So, game save slot. So, we all know when you play FarmSim and you start career mode, you go in, you pick a farm that you want to use, you select the mods that you want to use and the DLCs that you want to use, and then you can go in and play a single player farm. So you're going to essentially do that. What you're going to do is you're going to go to FarmSim, you're going to create a new career, and you can either do farm manager, start from scratch, and etc. There's a couple of options there that you can choose from easy to hard. And then you're also going to choose what map you're going to use. Once you load into your brand new career mode, you're then going to go and press the escape key. You're going to go to the little cogwheel at the bottom and you're going to save the game. And once you save the game, any of the games that you have saved in your FarmSim will appear in this list. Depending, like it comes up with, I think when you load into career mode, it comes up with 4 empty boxes on the screen originally, and then you can put 4 careers in, then you can click the little tab to the side, and then you can have another 4, and so on and so forth. So as you can see here, I've got a few farms already. So we've got Elm Creek, we've got Calmsden Farm. So I'm just going to choose a map that's already in the game, which is going to be Elm Creek. And as you can see here, it says Elm Creek and it also says Farm Manager. But if you select a map here, say for instance I selected Calmsden Farm and it still says Elm Creek, you can click the save button and it will change the save game to Calmsden Farm. And then once you've done this, it will save the name, the admin password, the game password. It's now selected that we're going to go to Calmsden Farm, and then the map is Calmsden Farm. The career mode is Farm Manager. Leave the port alone unless you're already using that port for another dedicated server of some sorts. Now here you can select from 2 players to 16. I always run 16 because I never know from a week-to-week basis how many people are actually going to be joining me on the farm. One week it could be me and the missus. The next week it could be 10 of us. I don't know. So I always max out the amount of players that can possibly be in my server. If you was playing with, I don't know, you and your best mate and you only need 2 slots, set it to 2 slots. If you have a gaming community and you don't know how many people are going to join, just max it out. So then, if you get 16 in, happy days. If you don't, still happy days, because there's always extra slots available. So you now can also change your game language here. I'm English, I'm leaving it as English. And then the save interval is 180. Again, you can change this if you wish. Web API, they did used to have an app on 19, which was on your phone. So if you ran a dedicated server, you could reset your server from your mobile phone, but they haven't built an app for 22 as of yet. So the web API for me currently is useless. Pause game when empty. So if everybody leaves the farm, you can have it that it will instantly pause, so you don't lose money, or if you had crop withering on and stuff like that, that when you come back into the game, your crops have withered. But Farm Sim 22 is a lot harder than 19 because the crops take longer to grow. So for my server, I do have it set to no, we don't pause our game. So our farm, the other DDL farm that we run, runs 24 hours a day on my server machine. So I have a farm manager that goes in and checks on the farm daily, and he also then updates the farming log in the Discord. So if he goes on and he finds that, all of the animals are out of food, he will put it into the Discord. Right, if anybody is free today, please go in and feed the animals. Or if he goes on and, I don't know, field 27 is ready to harvest, he will then go into the Discord and he will, we have a separate role for our farm community. So he will always tag at farmer, this needs doing. And then if someone's free, they will go and do it. And I personally think that's the best way, if you don't play farming every single day, or you don't game with the same bunch of people every single day, that you can communicate what's going on the farm. You can use Discord. Or if you have a Facebook group of, a Facebook group or a Facebook messenger chat, you can go in there and you can drop in and say, like, oh, by the way, 27 needs harvesting, the animals need feeding, blah, 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 anybody free. It just makes sense to communicate amongst each other, especially if you do not have your farm pause. Because you could come in one day and every single one of your animal pens, the poo's overflowing, they're out of food, they're out of water, So it's always good to use channels like Discord or Facebook group or Messenger to communicate with the guys that play on your farm. So now that we're past that, you can choose if you want to use crossplay or not. So that means that I think it's on PlayStation as well. I'm not 100% sure. I don't own a console. I haven't for many years. So like Xbox, PlayStation, I think possibly Nintendo Switch and PC, Steam and Giant can all play together if this is ticked. UPnP, I would always tick it. Plug and play is, absolutely brilliant. So the next step is your mods. So I have quite a few mods right here that we run on our dedicated server. So what I'm going to do is, for me, I'm just going to tick the all button and I'm going to deactivate them, because this is how you will see it when you first come in. No mods. Look, active mods is here. Currently no active mods. This is what you guys will see when you come to this section to start with. So then what you're going to do is you can pick individual mods that you want in, or you can just scroll all the way down to the bottom and you can just tick all and activate all. So now in the activated mods, all of the mods that I've just shown you right here are now active. So that is essentially it. Once you've done that, you're going to hit the save button one more time, and as you can see, saved game. And then from there, Right now we've got all our mods active, we've got our farm name, passwords and so on and so forth all set. We can then hit the start button. And with any luck, when we minimize this window, Steam should have brought up a box like this. So this is FS22 is attempting to launch with an option parameter shown below from my document server. Okay. We're going to click OK. And from there, we should end up with our secondary command prompt box. You might see a few errors on some mods, especially if you're running, say, Calmsden Farm and you have Green River and so on and so forth. You might see some errors. So, like I said, you may see a few errors if you have additional maps within your mods that you've uploaded to the server. But don't worry about those. That's not an issue. They're not going to cause any problem. It just means that you've selected a specific map, but you also have that mod active. It's just going to ignore it. It's going to, in this box here, it will create an error wherever it went. I don't know where the error went. But it did error. I saw it. There we go. Look, Green River 22 is not available for this current dedicated server, and Old Stream Farm is not available for this current server. So it error coded 2, and it will now ignore those. That is if you put in map mods other than the map that you're currently using. So that aside, we can then carry on down the list. So see here, starting up multiplayer game. And here we go. It's loading in all of the information from all of adding mods, all different mods. And more mods, and more mods. Yeah, we have got a lot of mods. So yeah, so now what will happen is down here, once all of this is finished loading, it will come up and it will tell you when somebody joins the farm. So if I join the farm, I'm currently on Jade's account, so it will come up, Jade has joined the farm. Or if, I don't know, Kane joined the farm, it will come up, Kane joined the farm, you know. So you can keep an eye on all the information right here. So that is the dedicated server running. I don't think I'll be able to show you now because I've got this running. Sure, the last time I tried, yeah, look, you can see that FarmSim is currently running because the dedicated server is running. But like I said, other than the errors that you saw about the map, the 2 additional maps that I put in, everything else is working fine. There's no errors or anything. So now what you would now do is you would go and load up FarmSim on a secondary PC, on a secondary Steam account. And once you've done that, then you can then go and log in with your username and password, and that's it. Your dedicated server is now running. So, thank you very much for watching, and I believe it was the British Gamer, I believe, was the guy that asked about the farming dedicated server. I may be wrong, but I think he was. But that's it. It is that simple. But like I said, because this uses the main game, once this dedicated server is launched, the game is being utilized in Steam. So what you could do as a workaround is you could buy a copy on Steam, and you could also buy a copy from the Giants website. Because it's classed as 2 copies of the same game, you could use your Steam version to run your dedicated server, like I just showed you, and play on your Giants version of the game, or you could run it from the Giants version of the game and play on the Steam version of the game. That is the only way that you're going to be able to do it, unless you're running a virtual machine. You know, if you was running a virtual machine, then you'll be able to get around it, you know, because you could run 2 Steam applications and sign into one and sign into the other simultaneously. I don't know a way of, you know, just on a normal copy of Windows, how to get Steam to run 2 instances of the program and sign into 2 different accounts. It may be possible. If that's something that you're looking for, then you'll have to look it up on the internet. But enjoy your dedicated server. And as always, I've been Dr. Dave. You guys have been amazing. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. And we will see you all next time. Bye for now.